And I don't
Good,
know
good
if I've
one.
ever seen an R-rated movie in the theaters.
In your life? Oh yes. Oh God, yes. Welcome back to Is It Still Good? The show with two grown-up film students who hate growing up. I'm Bear Kennedy in Chicago. Joining me today, as always,
Andrew Carter in Los Angeles. Also joining us from Los Angeles, the wonderful, the talented Ansley Gordon. So we brought Ansley on because we wanted to talk to her about a very specific memory from all of our childhoods, the Disney Channel original film, Cadet Kelly. And in case you don't remember, it stars Hilary Duff, Christy Carlson Romano, and the great Gary Cole, which was fantastic to see him in this movie, I gotta say.
his mustache had its own billing.
Yeah, it was...
I've never seen him in anything else.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I would know.
Office
Get the
Space.
fuck out of here. Office Space.
I
Gary
haven't
Cole is
seen
a
Office
comedian. Oh,
I haven't
wow.
seen Office Space.
You haven't seen... Oh, man, it's amazing.
So we'll be having you back on. Is what we're saying.
Yeah, to watch Office
I
Space.
have a very immature movie.
History.
Yeah.
Oeuvre.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, or
I've
no.
seen every Disney Channel original movie, every Disney animated movie, but anything that's cultural. I just saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind 2 nights ago. I saw all of the Indiana Jones for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
Because Brian was like, "What the fuck? How have you never seen these?" And I was like, "Listen, I was busy watching Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Bynes."
Well, Close Encounters is an important movie for anyone who loves potatoes, and I just found out.
The big potato mountain.
And just this week I found out that Steven Soderbergh cut together a Raiders of the Lost Ark in black and white using only Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross soundtrack music, and it's awesome. It's definitely like a weed thing, like playing Dark Side of the Moon and watching Wizard of Oz, but it rules. It's so good.
Quick side note:
highly
has
recommend
anyone tried to do that? The Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz?
Works great. It's amazing.
Okay,
I've done it more than once.
I have not tried it. What do I do? I want to try it.
You are supposed to start Dark Side of the Moon when Leo the Lion roars the third time. You know, he gets 2 good roars. There's that last kind of "arr" at the end.
Okay.
You hit play.
So on that little last one.
Yeah, the little last one,
Okay.
hit play,
Alright.
and then it'll loop through almost twice the whole album. The first loop of the album is fucking sweet. With
Okay.
with the Wizard.
We just sit here talking about drugs. Ansley's like, mm-hmm.
No, it's good.
Well, no, I keep itching my nose, and I'm like, they definitely think I just snorted some shit. There's just cat hair all over.
Whatever gets you up, to talk about Cadet Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to. It's like, look, we're talking about Cadet Kelly. I got to go all night. But anyway, so back to Cadet Kelly. So, Ansley, do you remember watching this on TV? And if so, did you watch it the night it premiered? Did you watch it later? What's your history with it?
So, my lifelong best friend's name is Jenna Christine. We became friends in kindergarten, and we're best friends through high school. We lived together all the years of college. This was a romance, and we would get together on, I don't remember if it was Friday night or Sunday night. We lived across the street from each other, and we'd alternate houses, and we would watch the Disney Channel original movies every weekend when they came out. And we used to have a YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you what it's called because there's still one video that's on YouTube that is so fucking embarrassing, and if it ever leaks, I'm fucked. Where we reviewed Camp Rock and just talked so much shit about Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. It's so bad. But yes, it was at a slumber party, and I remember being so envious of her wardrobe in that opening sequence, and with the purple fake hair. And I tried to talk my mom into getting one of them. She was like, absolutely not. Yes.
Yeah, this is the second week in a row where I've watched the thing that we were doing for the show, and the same 2 thoughts. The first one is, what the fuck? And the second one is, God, I just miss the early 2000s.
Me too.
Yeah,
it just felt so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We had so much hope.
Yeah.
We did.
So it premiered March 8th, 2002, which for if anyone can remember when that was, Lizzie McGuire premiered like the year before in 2001. So she was like the queen of Disney Channel. Mm-hmm. So this was
have you seen that video? That's her drawing the Mickey Mouse thing. I will email it to you guys because it's the weirdest video I've ever seen. It's like the behind the scenes. Do you remember? Yes. Do you remember like the transition where they would be, "Hi, I'm Lizzie McGuire," or "I'm Hilary Duff from Lizzie McGuire," and then she would draw the like mouse thing. So it's the behind the scenes of her doing that. And I don't know if she had just had a meltdown or if somebody was just really mean to her, but she looks like she was just crying, and it is just so.
Yeah,
you guys
I really want to see this because then we can post it with this episode, because now it's like I love the idea of seeing the behind the scenes of doing something against which was clearly a green screen. But it's funny. I remember when it came out, I watched it with my sister, like the weekend that it came out, because I think with Disney Channel original movies, I think they air at like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights when they originally would come out. They would premiere on a Friday.
Really? I thought it was like Saturday at 7. I thought like they had that prime
I think
time slot where it was like perfect babysitting time for their premieres. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that maybe they used to be like that. Like I think it used to be that, but I don't know what happened. Eventually they moved to Friday. And I'm a freak with dates, so I know my dates. Like I know March 8th, 2002 was a Friday. Because I remember March 1st, 2002 was also a Friday the week before, and I remember a movie called We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson came out.
And Opie from Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, yeah.
Shit, I forget.
Randall Wallace directed it, which I never saw that movie, and it looked like pretty by the numbers. But
it's not bad. It's not that good. It is. Yeah. It brings the violence, which is what you would expect of a Mel Gibson film, which is, as we've talked about, the man loves filming extreme violence. So,
he's a lunatic. I remember seeing an interview with him years later where he talks about his relationship with that director, Randall Wallace, who made We Were Soldiers, because Randall Wallace also wrote Braveheart. And he was talking, and this was like post meltdown, and where Mel's just like lost it, and he's like talking to Jay Leno, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm working with Randy Wallace. We're doing a Viking movie," and he's like gripping the armrest. He's nuts.
Yeah.
Andrew, I sent you the video. I found it.
Okay, we're gonna check it. We're gonna post it with this episode. I'm very curious to see if the post meltdown Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Watching.
Well, like I'm a little concerned because she looks so sad.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Did she have a meltdown?
No. That like something that day happened, or somebody said something mean to her before she had to film this.
Got it.
She can't have a meltdown. All of us born in the 90s need her to stay.
Yeah, we do. Well, she didn't have a meltdown, but they were making a Lizzie McGuire reboot at Disney Plus, and apparently all that I got about it when I read, like, Hilary Duff posted some thing on her Instagram that was like, please let us move to Hulu because Lizzie's stories as a 30-something are different. They're not Disney stories. Like, that's essentially what it sounds like was the issue, was that like Lizzie as a 30-year-old it's not a Disney story anymore. Like she's out there and like, you know, like having sex probably and like doing things that Disney's like, what? No, that doesn't happen. And so like,
for Cadet Kelly, when she was looking to take in this role, was she working out a lot? Was she getting into really good shape?
Yeah, was she like?
Because Hilary is looking Duff.
Oh my god.
I don't know, but I think her comedic skills were on point. She was so funny, and she was really
funny
in that movie. And the physical comedy in that, she did such a good job with that.
Well, yeah, she did. The editing of like the you know, whatever that was.
That in the dance fight, I didn't see coming because I thought it would. You know, I figured, all right, they're doing the drill with the guns and shit, but it devolved into dance fighting, which I appreciated.
Oh, you mean that it's a rare disguise and it's just a super.
And it's the same song that opens the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's called Super Chick. It used to be my ringtone.
Wow, like mid 2000s ringtone, like when you used to buy
First cell
ringtones.
phone, first cell phone that had like the charm on it.
Yeah, dude, ringtones used to cost more than songs on iTunes.
That's so
Oh
true.
yeah.
They used to cost like $5, and I remember I like was on a lacrosse trip in high school, and I like we were all just like buying ringtones, and I get home and my dad has the bill, and he's like, "What the hell is this? Like, what was that song that goes, "Give me your number and I'll call." I forget, but like I got that ringtone, and he was like, "What is 'Give me your number, I'll call' ringtone? Like $6.99? This is absurd!" And he like just didn't get it. But
And
obviously,
$6.99 was like $9
yeah,
back
it's
then.
ridiculous.
Adjusting for inflation.
It's ridiculous. But no,
King's ransom.
Bear, to answer your question about getting in shape, they did have a military
That
consultant.
was
I know it was a joke.
that was a setup for a bad joke.
Yeah, it was a
and
terrible
I'm not
joke.
sorry. Yeah.
But they did have a military consultant on set who I think like had them run through the drills, so when they were filming they looked like they were actually like knowing what they were doing. It's a big military school, and it was all shot in Canada, by the way.
That's why Carla has an accent.
Yeah. I felt bad for Carla in this movie.
You
I feel
should
like
feel
she
bad
got-
for Carla.
She got the short end of
Yeah.
the stick a lot, and the camera follows her, and she's kind of like,
Sad, yes.
I feel bad, yeah. But anyway, I think what was great about Hilary Duff back then was like she just, first of all my friends and I had monster crushes on her, like when we were 11, 12. And
Have you seen a recent picture? Because still do.
Yes.
still do.
Oh, she's still
insane.
super got it. Yeah.
Smoking.
Bear's like, I'm gonna leave. Bear's like,
I'm
I'm
a
gonna leave
happily married
Jackie.
straight lady and she's
I
smoking.
mean, let's keep the camera up above the waistline for me during this one.
Oh my god. She has a couple kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Two, Luca and Banks.
Have you ever met
We
her,
wanna talk-
Ansley?
No, I haven't, but
I feel like
when I do.
yeah, I feel like you guys would get along.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. She's gonna star in one of the movies that I write at some point, and she's gonna be like, "Wow, this is a fucking awesome script. Who's this chick?" And then we're gonna become best friends. And
There you go.
just wait, give me 3 years.
3
Sounds
years.
good.
All right, 3 years. That's 2023. We'll be out. Hopefully, we'll be out of the pandemic. We'll be
Yes.
doing it. But anyway, so Ansley, talk a little bit more about your friend that you used to watch the Disney Channel original movies with. Was this like every time they would come out? Because I think back when we were growing up, they were like one a month. If I'm
Yeah,
not
it was
mistaken.
or there was 2 a month. But we
Yeah,
would.
you might be right.
We were joined at the hip. We were on the gymnastics team together and just did everything together. I don't know if we actually liked each other because we fought a lot when we were little, and then when we were in college, we were like, "Hey, we kind of have a toxic relationship. We should work on this." And now it's great. And our dads are best friends, which is really cute. And they live in the same neighborhood, so they like socially distance, hang out together. But yeah, she's a flight attendant who just moved to North Carolina, and she's married to a nurse who I haven't met, but he is very cute. And yeah,
Wow.
she's great.
Wait a minute. What were some of your fights when you were kids?
So we are both the oldest of 4+ kids.
Oh yeah.
So we are used to
Oh.
being very much in charge and very bossy. And so then when we moved into college together, our other roommate, Kayla, she was also the oldest of 4+ kids. And there was just so much tension. And finally we were all like, okay, we need to figure out a way to work this out because we're not all right. And
Yeah.
we did. It was great. And
Wow.
So when this came out in 2002, I was like 14. So this is the first time I ever watched Cadet Kelly, and I kind of was a little old for the Disney Channel. I think like I was more of a Nickelodeon kid, and then by the time I was like 12 or so, I'd kind of gotten off of that and more into MTV. So I missed a lot of this Disney Channel original movie and some of the Disney Channel properties that people really like. From when they were kids. So I don't remember watching this ever. I know for a fact in 2002 I was trying to get into every R-rated movie I could because I looked like a full-grown man. So
Did you succeed?
Oh yeah,
What was the
I told
first
my parents-
R-rated movie? Actually, let's talk about that. What was everyone's first R-rated movie that they saw in theaters? Because I have
I
mine.
I believe it was Road to Perdition, and I called my mom.
That was 2002.
Yeah, I called her to tell her, hey, I'm going to the movie. She's like, what are you going to see? It's like Road to Perdition. She's like, okay, have fun. And then I came home, like a friend's parent drove me. I came home, she's like, that's rated R. And like my parents are very, very conservative, and they were not happy that I just got into Road to Perdition. I was like, Mom, it was a dope movie. It's Conrad Hall. What do you want?
Yeah.
And so that was not above board, but I believe that was the first one that I saw in the theater.
It's a great first R-rated. What about you, Ansley?
Still great.
I've also not seen that movie. And I don't know if I've ever seen an R-rated movie in the theaters. Wait, was the Joker rated R? Yeah. I'm not a movie theater person.
But that's like difficult to achieve. That is a crazy good
Yeah,
film.
that's hard. Like, wait, what did you just ask that was rated R?
I said, was the Joker, this new Joker movie rated R?
Yes, it was.
It had to have been.
Okay, because I saw that on opening night, and that was one of the most tense experiences for everyone in the theater, because we were all totally convinced together that whoever came in next was going to shoot us. We were like sitting there, and if somebody would come in, we'd like look to the person next to us, and back. The whole theater did it the whole time. That was probably the first R-rated movie I saw in theaters. But the first R-rated movie I saw was Lucky Strike, and I watched it behind my parents, like while they were watching, and I snuck into the kitchen and I watched it.
Wait, Lucky Strike? I don't think I've heard. What is that?
It's a pool movie. Yes, Lucky Strike came out in 2001. Or there's a 1995. No, that's not right. The one that came out in 2001.
Who's in
maybe
this?
not.
I don't know.
Yeah, who's in Lucky Strike?
No, this might be wrong. Lucky was in the title.
Lucky Number 11 with Josh Hartnett.
I saw that in the theater and hated it.
No, there was 3 F words in it though. And I remember because my mom kept getting offended every time they added a fuck in the movie. Tom.
I have a great one. My this is not my mom, but my friend also named Andrew. When the Pianist came out and won a bunch of Oscars with Adrian Brody, they rented it on video. Him and his parents watched it, and that's a rated R movie. And we were in 8th grade, and his parents were like, "Okay, you can watch this if you watch it with us." And so they were watching it, and it's a movie about the Holocaust, and there were a lot of deaths in it. And Andrew, the next day, we were all hanging out, and he's like, "Dude, we watched The Pianist last night." And I was like, "Oh, and my parents took me to the theater to see it." And I was like, "Oh, it's so good." And he was like, "Yeah, dude, but like my mom is so annoying." And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Every time someone died, she would just go, 'Oh!' Like throughout the whole movie." So every time I think of that movie, I just think of that. But
I'm pretty sure that's gonna be me as a parent. I get so affected by movies.
Wait, where did you see Joker here in LA? What theater?
I saw it at. I can see the theater in my head. It's in Sherman Oaks, right behind my table.
The ArcLight or the?
No. It's not a fancy place. It's a shithole.
Okay.
Off of Ventura, you would turn down to get on the 101.
Okay.
What's right there? If you
the ArcLight is right there.
Yeah, that is.
It's not an ArcLight. It's not an ArcLight. I promise you, it's not an ArcLight.
That one there is the ArcLight.
That's like
the fact check.
The Lemley? Is there a Lemley?
Where did we see the Joker? What's that theater called? It's not. What were you guys saying it was?
ArcLight.
ArcLight?
It was what?
Oh, say ArcLight. Come on.
Oh, man, I'm praying.
Give it to her.
It's not an ArcLight. It's not an AMC.
Lemley.
Do you want me to look it up?
No, I love how domestic this has gotten. We're involving our spouses. Bear's gonna be like, Jackie, come in here. Have you been to LA? Like, do you know where the 101 is, where it meets the 10? Yeah, like.
No, it's not where it meets the 10. It's where Craze Cafe is on Ventura, but you would go down you're going towards the highway. It's by the Best Buy. It's by.
Oh,
I know.
About?
I've been to Crave, but I haven't been to that theater. I don't.
I do know. It's
not a brand name theater.
It's not. No, it's it's a
shithole.
It's small. It's like only a few screens.
Yes, and it smells like a bowling alley. Like it smells like shoes.
Yeah.
This place sounds amazing.
It's definitely
Well,
something out of like an early 2000s indie movie, for sure.
yeah, that's why I'm asking, because sometimes you can feel that way because of the theater that you see it in. Of like, oh man,
Oh, it
someone's
was
gonna come
sketch.
in.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
sketch as fuck, for sure.
But speaking of first R-rated movies, I saw Billy Elliot with my parents. I was like 11, and they took me. I don't know why. They were like, "Yeah, or maybe I was 12, and they were like, "We'll take you, like, to come see."
Were you
it.
saying piss off like the whole week afterwards?
Yeah, oh, piss off, yeah, whatever.
Oh,
But
piss
like,
off.
and so, but that one I kind of don't count because it was with my parents. But the first R-rated movie I saw in theaters with friends was the same year as you, Bear, and it's also a good one. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia.
Oh, that's
Guys,
an
I have
interesting one.
seen none of these.
Well, we're
It's
two
okay.
nerds that have
Yeah.
almost disappeared up our own ass, so it's going to be tough to match us.
Ansley,
for
Zoe
just random
Zoe is the
weird
same.
stuff.
Like Zoe has like there's
Zoe's
so
only
many movies.
seen Hilary Duff movies.
Yeah, she actually has seen a lot of
Strong
Disney
working
Channel
knowledge of Duff's early catalog.
Yeah, Duff's early work is, but she's one of the great joys, well, one of my great joys of our marriage is getting to show her movies that she hasn't seen, which is like,
Brian loves doing that too.
yeah, I know. We still have to do it. We still have to actually like hang out physically. So let's actually, good segue. So how Ansley and I met, we were
Romantic.
Yeah, very romantic. We were both with our
I think
spouses.
I'm sitting down.
Yeah, we were both with our spouses in Kauai.
In a hot
both
tub.
in a hot tub on our honeymoons. A little bit. Like ours was, I guess. I mean, as of now, I don't know when we're gonna go, because we were gonna go on an official honeymoon in a couple of years, but because of the pandemic, I don't know when the hell that's gonna happen. So we're just gonna call Kauai our like unofficial honeymoon right now, just because we were like our parents were there too.
Ours was
but
our
we
later
were-
moon. Ours was 2
Yeah.
years after our wedding.
Right, and that's
There's
what
no
we
there's
were
no
planning
law
on
for
doing.
this. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
just
there's
do
no law.
whatever
Yeah.
you want.
But
yeah.
but we were sitting. So I was ordering a drink at the bar earlier in the evening, and some guys, like some people came up to order a drink, and the bartender asked for their ID, and it's three kids, two guys and a girl. Well, technically, yeah, two guys and a girl, and they're like, "Oh yeah, do you have yours? Oh, I don't have them. No, you. Oh yeah, we don't. We'll go get it." And then they left. And Ansley's husband Brian was there, who I didn't know was her husband at the time. We kind of looked at each other, and he was like, "Yeah, those guys are not 21. Like those guys are 14." He's like, "I was a bartender. Like, I know that move. Like they were 14," and I was like, "This guy's funny." And then I was talking to Zoe or whatever, and then we went to the hot tub, and I think I dropped something in the hot tub or something, because Ansley was kind of like laughing, like, "Oh yeah, you got it" or something, and then we just started talking, and then we learned that we both live in LA. Ansley is a writer and an actress, and
Shared love of hot tubs.
yes,
Truly.
and Bear, guess who she has worked on a commercial with? And Ansley, I'll let you tell the story, because we talked about
Dennis
him
Farina.
No, we talked about him on an earlier podcast. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, you.
He's a very nice guy.
That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, super nice. Like, wanted to hang out, wanted to meet Brian. Was like, is he a loser? Should we be worried? And I was like, oh no, he's not a loser. He's like, okay, good. What does he
It's
do?
good. I like that he wanted the
Is he a
background.
loser?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
do we need to work
yeah.
you out of this relationship?
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah. I was like, no,
instantly
I've
into
been
it.
married. Yeah. I was like, I've been married for a second, and I think he's pretty great.
He is a real character.
He really is, and he's super nice, and made
Awesome.
Yeah.
all of the changes that he wanted to the script, like while we were filming, but was so nice about it that he was like, I don't think this is gonna come off right, so I think that we should let's just roll. Come here, like let's just go. We're like, oh okay, sure, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's a great actor too. He's Meisner trained. Like he's the real deal. He doesn't fuck around. I know people like to watch him and they're like, oh, it's Jeff Goldblum. He's kooky and weird, but he's like a real fucking.
I was gonna
actor.
say, I think that's just who he is. Like, I think he's
Right.
just, this is who I am, how I take up space. Come, you know.
Yeah. You know who else I think is the real deal? Gary Cole. I think that guy could do
Gary
anything.
Cole, absolutely yes. I love Gary Cole. It does blow my mind that you've never seen him in anything else.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
gonna
watch.
IMDb him real quick because I genuinely do not.
You
think I have.
yeah, you should watch Office Space. He's on Veep. He's hilarious on Veep.
It's
Oh,
really
who does
funny
he play on Veep? I only watched
He's
season
Kent.
one.
He doesn't come
comes
until
in
season
after
2.
that.
Yeah, he plays Kent and he's hilarious. He's like a very like no nonsense.
He's a pollster.
Yeah, he's a pollster. He's no nonsense, doesn't suffer fools, and he knows all the, like every worthless bit of trivia. It's really, he's a great character.
I saw him in Talladega Nights.
There you go.
There you
he's
go.
the father. He's the announcer in Dodgeball as well.
Yes.
He's the
Okay.
guy.
He's been in every. He's been in
amazing.
so
He
much.
really has been in everything.
He's a chameleon. He's one of the great character working actors ever. I love that.
Yeah, he's awesome, and it was great to see him in this, and I love that he. Again, I love that. Yeah, his mustache was great.
Amazing.
And I gotta say, he was like very sincere as this military captain, and was like, just come to my attention.
Who's like slightly wounded, like he's slightly, he like really wanted this, and he wants to do a good job, and I thought he was great.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's awesome. He's great. He's not funny in this.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
But it works. It's not like you watch it and you're like, why isn't he funny? Like
no. You don't expect it. He, especially in this point in his career too. I mean, this is after Lumbergh, but
yeah.
I mean, he looks very different from Office Space to this, in a space of 3 years even.
Yeah.
But I thought he was awesome. He's pretty empathetic. The only thing I didn't love is you could tell he was kind of probably came in to do like 5 days of shooting and was gone. He's probably the biggest name on that cast. If I had,
well, I don't know, Hilary Duff.
I don't know.
Hilary Duff is on the Disney payroll though. I mean, she's at that point. You're
and I also got to say, one issue that I did have with the movie, I felt like Christy Carlson Romano. I think they did her a little dirty.
She was trying not to laugh the entire movie. And it drives me
that actually
crazy.
Is true.
Every time, and like literally every shot, and you could tell they like tried to cut away because she's in every scene.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. I caught that. I didn't even realize it, but yeah, you're right. But what I mean is, like, I felt like she was also a very big name. I mean, she wasn't the lead in Lizzie McGuire, but she had Even Stevens. Yeah, Kim Possible, Even Stevens, and I felt like she didn't really. Yeah, I felt like she didn't have that big of a part in this. Maybe I'm wrong. I felt like they could have given her more to do.
She's second build.
Yeah.
And she's the antagonist, so I mean, even more so than Gary Cole. Gary Cole is not necessarily the
she's
villain.
on the poster.
That's
true. She is on the poster.
And her name is above the title, yeah.
Yeah.
When she called Hilary Duff a maggot, that brought back PTSD from high school, because when I went to boarding school and the kids, when I was a sophomore, the guys who were seniors,
was this a little too close to home for you? This film?
Yeah. When I was a sophomore, the guys who were seniors, one guy in particular would call us maggots toward the end of the year, and I was like, I hate that. And I like got along with him really well at the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year he just like turned and was like, I'm gonna be a dick senior, and he started calling us all maggots, and I was like, hey, this guy sucks. And just like for no reason was just like maggots, and I was like, I hate this guy.
I remember being younger and hearing that as an insult for the first time and being like, that's really not that bad. It's like not.
Yeah,
that
but
bad
for
of a
Disney,
thing to
I mean,
call
that's
someone.
about as hardcore that's as close to Arlie Ermy as we're gonna get for a Disney
True.
camp.
True.
Arlie Ermy, my God! Imagine if someone pitched this to Disney and they're like, yeah, so it's Full Metal Jacket, but with tweens. Tone. Yeah, but it's funny. Like, what I noticed about this movie was that the kids at this military school, first of all, they weren't bad kids, and second of all, it felt like they weren't forced there against their will. And I grew up having military school held over me like, if you fuck up, this is where you're going. Yeah, my parents used to say to me, like, Andrew, do you want to go to military school? Is that what you want? Like, when I would, like, get in trouble, they'd be like, is that what you want? Do you want to go to military school? And I'd be like, no,
Every once in a while, Carter throws something out where you're like, oh, it's the waspiest New England shit I've ever heard.
Oh,
and that hit the quota for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally.
Constant threat of military school.
My parents definitely, like, they were tough on me, but not in a way, like, it's funny, looking back, like, some of the kids and where I grew up in a town called Greenwich, Riverside, Connecticut, but it's all part of Greenwich, like, old Greenwich, Riverside, Coscob, and everything, and it is a very affluent town with a lot of terrible little shits, And as far as the terrible little shits go, I really was not that bad. I just had like ADD, and I didn't do well in school, and I acted out a lot, but I didn't like get in fights. I didn't do drugs. I didn't like flip off the teachers or anything. There were kids that were like smoking weed when they were in 6th grade. There were kids with older brothers that would like drive drunk and, steal their parents' cars and like steal their parents' booze. And look, I took my dad's beer, but like when I was in high school, which is, look, I guess not that much better, but like there were kids doing that shit in middle school. And so my point is that like, yeah, I wasn't a perfect kid, who is, but I definitely, every time my parents brought up military school, part of me wanted to be like, who do you guys think I am? Like some juvenile delinquent? Like, come, I'm not that bad. Like, I'm really not. And so it was interesting to watch this movie and have them being like, look, you're going to military school. And my first thought was, but she hasn't done anything wrong. Like, why is she going?
That's not how they get her there. And I was curious.
Right.
Like, I thought she was going to fuck up and get sentenced to it.
Right.
But they kind of get her there because her divorced parents, the mom is dating the head of the school, and so it happens very.
She marries him.
She does, and quickly he fucking leaves it directly in her, because like 20 minutes in, they're like, we're having another kid.
They're pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty
and he's
serious.
like, congratulations, big sister. Handshake.
Yeah.
I also love the voiceover, which we should talk about the voiceover in a second because I have some thoughts on it.
I hated the voiceover.
But well, hang on a minute. Hang on, I'm gonna get to that. But I loved in the voiceover in the beginning when she's talking about her dad, and she says, divorced, alone, yet having a terrific time, which is so
Some
Disney.
of us can relate to that.
Yeah, which is so Disney, like just saying divorced, sad, alone, sadder, but he's okay, because I feel like, and I also feel like that's kind of a mark of the early 2000s, because now I think divorce is a lot more common, where it's, I don't think
some of the coolest people you've ever met are divorced, so you never don't downplay it.
Someone on this podcast right here who's heavily hinting at it.
Living life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the least acrimonious on-screen divorce couple I've ever seen.
Right.
At the end, they're basically like, hey, let's form a polycule and just raise this kid with all of us.
Yeah.
There is almost no tension
I know.
from the divorce.
Two dads.
It was good to see for 2002. Yeah, they literally say two dads.
I know. And it's not some bad gay joke or anything. It's just two dads, which I really appreciated. But let's talk about the voiceover, because I do agree with Bear. Here's the thing. I don't think it was necessary. I just don't think the movie needed it.
She's constantly verbalizing exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
It is insane.
They do that because that's what Lizzie McGuire was. Lizzie McGuire, they would cut, and it would be the animated version of Lizzie, and you would hear what was happening in her thoughts. My thought is they combined it so Lizzie McGuire fans would like it. It's a common thing we expect out of the Duff genre.
It's a good theory.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, because I couldn't figure that out. It was very, very obviously what she was thinking just from her facial expressions. It's not like she's an incredible actor, but she's doing a really good job getting all the emotions across. I mean, for a kid, she's doing awesome.
Yeah, for a kid,
she did not need the help of the voiceover explaining her thoughts. It's coming through, so I couldn't figure that out for the life of me.
So the writer of that is also, at least one of them, Gail Parent, I think her name is also the writer of Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, the Lindsay Lohan movie. And that was a voiceover thing too, right? There was voiceover in that.
I think there was.
You're
I don't think I've ever. No, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I just tried to rewatch it after I watched Cadet Kelly because it was recommended to me on Disney Plus, and it does not hold up. That one does not hold up.
That's sad. But Ansley, I wanted to ask you. So you've said multiple times while we're recording that like you've seen a lot of Disney Channel original movies, but not a lot of other ones. Were the Disney Channel original movies and Disney movies in general, did they represent something to you that you felt like you didn't get from other movies, or was it more just like, I'm just watching these, I don't even think about other movies?
I also grew up in a very conservative household, so I think that was what was okay. And I am the oldest of 4, and so there was a lot of younger, and there's a 9-year gap between all the kids. So I think it was just a way to ensure that everything is family friendly. You know, like we only listened to Christian music because there was no cuss words and no, you know, fucking the bitches. So there was like that. So I think that that's part of why. And then by the time I decided I wanted to like be an actor or wanted to write something, I saw just like the most fucked up shit, like Seven. I watched Seven like 3 times in a row when I was like 13.
Well, there's an R-rated movie for you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like the most R-rated movie.
Yeah.
I might have been older than 13. I think I was a freshman in high school because then I combined Seven with One Tree Hill and wrote my first feature film.
Wow.
So bad.
What's it about? What's it called?
It sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about a girl who goes missing when she's younger. And it like then cuts to 20 years later and she doesn't have any memory of going missing. And it's you realize later it's her twin sister that was missing, but she like is living this life, and it's now the story is coming back because it's the 20-year anniversary of this girl going missing, and she's like, wait, this is me, and she like tries to solve what happens, and it goes like full on body in the bathtub, blood on the shower curtain, like bags in the garage. Oh yeah, and I like was sitting in a little cafe in Mount Dora, Florida, like writing this fucked up shit.
Wow. How old were you?
Is it called 8?
What?
Is it called 8?
Oh no, that would have been great. It was called The Staircase because the way that it ended was like it was around this like Victorian mansion that she grew up in, and it ends with her pushing him down the staircase.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, I would.
That honestly sounds
based on
pretty
this
good.
description alone.
I'm not kidding. You should brush that off. That would sell. I'm not just saying that. Like it would. Like that sounds great. But wait a minute. How old were you when you wrote this?
I finished it my junior year of high school.
That's impressive. Yeah, so you're like a born writer. You do it that young? Yeah, you're...
I didn't know this. Like, I did not know this until a couple years ago. Like, I really had no idea.
Yeah, I get it. Like, there are certain things that we don't even realize that we are. Like, I think, like, Bear works in pharmaceuticals, but he is, like... I've always said that you're, like, a born editor. Like,
well, I used to be a TV engineer before I left, so I have worked in Hollywood, but it's been a while. It is in dark rooms with computers and fat guys with beards. That is my natural environment. But
we met in film school, and I remember like I didn't know how to edit. I mean, I had worked with iMovie a little bit in high school, but like in college, I hadn't really done it yet, and I started taking Avid. And Bear and I were in the same fraternity, and then like Bear was like, "Yeah, you ever need any help with editing?" Yeah, I can't really.
He does a spot-on impression of me. Is my favorite thing.
The only thing I can really do that's you is hang on.
You only need one word.
Yeah, it's only one word. It's
you only need one.
All right, I'm doing it. Shut the fuck up. All right, it's yeah. That's it. It's just that.
It's like there's 2 of me. It's fucking great. It's
fucking great. I need yeah. Bear, can you give me the yeah? And then Andrew, can you like parrot it? And
okay.
Absolutely. Let me get into character.
3, 2, 1, action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my wettest dream. This is great.
Sorry, I probably just blew out everybody's mic because I clapped.
No, that's great.
So good.
I've been doing it.
He's
for
been
years.
studying for a long time.
Yeah,
he's been putting in the method for that.
Yeah. But like
2-word combo for a long time.
In film school, he used to tell me like, if you ever need help with Avid, let me know. And then I would say to people like, people would see like friends of ours would see us hanging out like and when you're in a fraternity when you're first because you were a year, even though we're the same age, you were a year ahead of me in school because Daddy got held back when he was a little boy because my parents my parents told me when I was earlier, they're like, we thought this is great, they go, I was like, why was I held back? Like this was like a few years ago. I was like, why was I held back? And they're like, well, we thought, you didn't do anything wrong, we thought that you needed another year of preschool. And my dad was like, another year of preschool, right, that's it, right. And I was just like, oh, all right. Which I was like, I don't know, what could I couldn't add the blocks, who knows. But anyway, so
I feel like I should interject on a story real quick with that.
Please.
So I was not held back in preschool, but all my siblings are in gifted. I am the only one with brown hair and brown eyes who wasn't in band, didn't play soccer, and wasn't in gifted.
What's gifted?
Like the smart kids. I don't know. Like where you get to leave and you get to go to like the gifted class.
There's a reason Andrew doesn't know what that is.
It's okay. I'm also not gifted. So I went to take the gifted test. I went to take the gifted test and didn't realize that that's what it was. And I just sat there and I organized the shit out of these blocks instead of like arranging the things that you're supposed to be doing, like put them in alphabetical order. And I would put them in like colors and like stack them. And your parents watch you take this test. I found this out later. And my mom was like, oh, no, she just thinks way differently than this system. Yeah. Great. Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, guys. See ya. And then the next three, she's like, now these are my perfect birds. Yeah.
Oh, totally. My brother is a pilot in the Air Force. My middle sister is a chemical engineer for PepsiCo. And my baby sister is studying to be a pediatrician.
Jesus Christ.
And then there's me.
Dude, I'm only one of two, but my older sister was always like, when we were kids, she was like cooking by herself at age 7. She was always like so advanced and always, what's funny is like, so there's been, with the Black Lives Matter movement recently, there's been this whole reckoning of so much for good reason. My sister Sarah has been talking about this shit since 2005, probably earlier. Like, and we've been having family Zooms about it, just to kind of just like check in with each other. And every time we talk, I somehow find myself getting like emotional because I'm like, Sarah, you always like were just like on us about this and you were always ahead of the game. And it's like, it's very sweet, but it's also like, it just reminds me like, damn, you're a brainiac. Like, and not only that, she just had this, I don't know what you want to call it, foresight, empathy, whatever. Like she just, she really, she just like really understands and empathizes with everybody. And now she's a college counselor at a school in Baltimore, and she just guides kids with where they want to, their college essays and where they're going to end up. So she's also doing great. But anyway, at college,
fucking rad.
Yeah, she's great. You guys would get along. In film school, Bear would always like, we would be hanging out and people would be like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna go like hanging out. Bear would always be like, oh, I'm gonna go teach him the Avid because I'm Christ at it. He would call himself like Christ at editing.
It's an apt comparison. I died for your editing sins.
And I was like, this is hilarious. But then we would get in the room and he would show me stuff and I was like, whoa, he really is very good. But no, I mean, he, that's kind of why we bond, is because we've always loved movies. We've always talked about them. Like, and you were the only, if I can remember correctly, I think you were the only other guy in our fraternity who was like in film school majoring in film production. Everyone else was doing, there are people in like the film school and like PR and advertising and other things, but like, at least, no, maybe that's not true, but I think for the first year that I was there,
we didn't have a ton.
I mean,
a lot of, it's just different, but it was fun. And most people I know from film school who were my year were not Greek or were somewhere else, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. It's not, not a bad thing to open up your network a little bit more. So
yeah.
If we could go back real quick to our meet cute in the hot tub.
Oh yeah. How did we fucking get off of that?
I don't know if you know this, but I write TV rom-coms.
I know nothing about you. He didn't even give me a heads up. He's like, hey, we're having someone who likes Cadet Kelly on.
Well,
I'm like, dope.
The reason I didn't give a heads up is because I wanted to give Ansley a moment on the podcast to like plug her shit and talk about herself.
I literally can't talk about anything though. Like I can't talk about any of my shit right now. Especially because you're
sworn. Yeah, because you're sworn.
Shit's embargoed right now.
But it's good because she's selling stuff. So talk about that.
That's it. I write TV rom-coms, and I didn't know that you could write. I did a Lifetime movie a couple years ago, and then my friend did one this last year, and I watched it with her, and I was like, this is shit. Like, this is so bad. I could write this. So then I spent 3 weeks writing Hallmark movies, or breaking down Hallmark movies, and just how many scenes, how many characters, how long, like what locations, that kind of thing. And I wrote 9 in 9 months. And so then in February, I just started reaching out to producers and saying like, hey, I have these scripts. And then it was like, and now I have a writing career.
That's awesome. I feel like sometimes people don't realize like that's kind of how that works, especially if you're on the younger side. Like you think that you have to have some story that you're going to tell that's going to be really, really powerful, or you're going to like draw something out of yourself to like write something that's going to be life changing. And what you don't realize is you can just do what you did. Things kind of have a formula. And if you can break that down and write into it, you can be employed doing that. And it's awesome. And it doesn't take away from what you do, but there's a business to that does fall into kind of a paradigm. And if you can get with that, the sky's the limit. I mean, you don't have to sit down in a hotel room with some dude and bang out Pulp Fiction over the course of 3 weeks.
Well, I do think that everybody has their life, the one life story, and it's probably not yours. It's probably your grandparents or your sisters or whatever, that you do have that one epic script in you.
Yeah.
But that's one. And if you want a career, like what else? Like you have to have other.
Yeah, you got to just get shit out of you.
Totally.
Like a lot of people will try to hold something in. That's not necessarily a good idea. I don't have any career in writing. You do, but that desire to like hold on to something, I don't think that's worthwhile. It's better just to practice, get stuff out, work your craft.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was really impressed about when I first met Ansley, was like we were connecting about like, you know, getting in touch with like, oh, go ahead.
I started Crawl.
So how far into it are you? Because it's on Hulu, right?
She went home.
Have you even seen gators yet?
Yes, there's one, but they're not worried about it.
Okay, yeah, well, okay, so just keep watching.
I suspect they might be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a gator story, an actual gator story. So if I can tell it, is that okay?
Yeah, please. Are you kidding?
So I grew up on a golf course, on the 8th hole of the golf course, and there was like this big, it's not a lake, but it's not a pond. It's like medium sized, in between us and the 8th hole. And the day we moved into the house, we didn't know there was a 6-foot alligator in the lake pond, the plake in our backyard. And my brother had just gotten a new video camera, and our cat was drinking water out of the plake, and this alligator came up and dragged the cat into the water, and my brother filmed it, and we were both just like, and we tried to tell our mom that this is what happened. Totally downplayed it. I have a big imagination. I'm a little bit dramatic. Totally will admit that. But for years, my mom was like, that didn't happen. My brother was moving to college and cleaning out his stuff, and he found the tape and showed it to my mom. And my mom called me, and she was like, I'm sorry that I didn't believe you. And I was like, I fucking told you. I told you.
Holy shit.
Rest in peace, Silver.
Oh my God.
So then there was this really hot boy who lived on the other side of the lake. I don't remember his name, but he caught the alligator, like wrangled it, and then they called animal control, and somebody came and got it. Oh, he
wrangles
was so
gators.
sexy. Oh yeah, and he like had a thing like in its mouth, and it was insane. I'm from Florida. Let me just remind.
And then he was holding it up dead, looking at you from across the plate, being like, "You want to come over for some dinner?"
Totally. Absolutely. I wish I remembered his name, but yeah.
Hot Boy. That's his name. Hot Boy.
Hot Boy. He probably had wrestling gators. He probably had forearms like he strung tennis rackets or something.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. It actually happened. Like, you could call my parents. That's a true story.
Fucking Florida, man. What is it? The heat? The humidity? Like, people do crazy shit.
I don't know. So we have a cabin on the St. Mary's River, which is the dividing river between Florida and Georgia. And the water is like this deep, maybe an inch. You stick your hand in, you can't see it anymore. Like, it's tea colored. And we grew up like water skiing and tubing on this river. And like, there was one time my baby sister, she was like maybe 6. We all learned to water ski before we learned to read. So she was skiing, and there was a gator, and my dad tried to move the boat so they wouldn't hit the gator, right? And they did. They moved it, and she skied right over the alligator. And my dad was like, don't let go. Don't let go. And she's like, why? And she's this like tiny little. Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Wow.
That is fucking.
Totally. There's like water moccasins. There's gar. You'd fall off the tube, and you didn't want to be too close to like the banks because there's snakes, right? And my family would be like,
Yeah.
here, snakey, 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 while they're turning the boat around. Oh, it was crazy.
I grew up in Ohio, and I got stung by a wasp once, and I didn't care for it. And that's about as exciting as that was.
Yeah. I grew up in Connecticut, and nothing. I got yelled at by my parents about being threatened to go to military school. That's what happened to me. But that's a nice
over alligator.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. But that's
That was
a nice
pro segue.
That's a nice segue back into it. So, our verdicts, guys. This is the important part. Is Cadet Kelly still good? Yes or no? So, Ansley, I guessed first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So much happened in that movie. And I thought everybody was very good. Except I feel a little sad for Carla. Everything else was super.
But that's okay. Simple answer. Bear, what about you?
I didn't like it. What do you want? I mean, there were things I enjoyed. So the biggest thing I was thinking about with this movie was how TV movies used to feel very different from cinema, whereas I don't think they do now as much. Maybe the Lifetime stuff kind of has that old school TV movie vibe. But, like, you watch HBO movies and things like that are TV movies, and it feels pretty close to, like, a theatrical movie experience. Same with this, actually...
Same with Netflix, too. Movies on Netflix. Yeah. Certain ones.
The line between TV movie and, like, cinematic movie has blurred a lot, but this is from the time kind of before that happened. So that's interesting to me. I loved seeing Gary Cole. Yeah. I loved that she, at one point, basically all they do in military school is twirl stuff around, spit a lot, yell at each other, and, like, hang out, which sounded pretty good. At one point, I mean, it looks great.
Also, they had a cell phone. How did she have a cell phone in military school? We didn't have cell phones in my boarding school.
Yeah.
We weren't, I mean, we did, but we weren't allowed to. Like, she would just walk.
Well, she was well-to-do.
That's true,
Yeah.
And her dad worked there, or.
Well, she gets sentenced to, like, shining shoes at one point, and the first thing she does is start huffing that shoe shine, which I really respected how Cadet Kelly will do anything for a buzz. So that was probably my favorite scene. But other than that, like, this was a weird thing to happen to me. The Gary Cole's title is the Commandant, and for some reason I couldn't get that fucking song from After the Fire, Der Kommissar, out of my head for like the last 3 days, because I thought it was Der Commandant, and I looked up as Der Kommissar, and so, like, I've been playing that song a lot, and it's terrible. And it used to be part of a music collection that you could call in for, and they'd send you the CD like they used to on infomercials.
Oh yeah,
it was called Modern Rock. And I used to, in like 8th grade, I used to like sing parts of that song with my friends in like baseball practice. We always used to do Der Kommissar, which if you don't know the songs, don't turn around, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Because Der Kommissar's in town, uh-oh. And that's all they played in the commercial, and then it cut to the next song. So the next song after that was, I think, I watched the commercial this morning because I was like, okay, I don't remember what this was called. What the fuck was this? It's called Modern Rock. There's an 800 number that I called to see if I could buy it, because they're like, oh, it's $12.99, and as a kid I didn't have $12.99, and I definitely do now. It was 2 CDs for $12.99. I called the number, and it goes to like some bank, so they've relinquished that 800 number.
Heartbreaking.
So this, I did find Cadet Kelly to be a gateway drug into the discography of After the Fire, which is quite limited, and Der Kommissar is probably their best song. So, no, I didn't love it. It was kind of harmless, kids movie, kind of trope-driven comedy. Nothing wrong with that. It was fine. I did do some research and saw that it has been reappraised in recent years as a very gay-friendly film. There are multiple articles kind of examining the budding love story between Cadet Kelly and the other female lead, which I think is reading into something that isn't really into the text. But multiple articles on the internet about how that was kind of pushing the limits for Disney at the time to have kind of a same-sex sexual tension. type thing. I think that they were just kind of friendly. It would have been amazingly ahead of its time if they had actually gone there with it, which would have been very interesting for 2002. Almost expected now. I thought their relationship, even though I wasn't feeling the sexual chemistry, was pretty good. I mean, they hate each other, and then they realize that they're good partners, and they're able to achieve something good. I thought all that was good. And Ansley, you're right. There's so much fucking shit that happens in this movie. They get right into the ribbon dancing. It moves at a lightning fast pace. There's plenty of Shawn Ashmore in this film. So there was things that I liked, but on the whole, I cannot imagine watching this again. It's not going in the rotation, but I'm glad to have more of an idea of Hilary Duff's early output.
All right.
But that was kind of how I felt about it.
Very, very valid. So tie-breaking vote. I'm gonna go. I gotta be honest. It's a yes for me. And here,
no. There's no way this is.
Here's why. Here's why. It's kind of a backhanded yes, but it's a yes. And the reason it's backhanded is because all these Disney Channel original movies, I've watched a few of them since having Disney Plus, and they're very similar. Like they're all the same. And so it's okay, like they're all what they are. And so they're not like great works of art, but they're harmless. They're not boring. They're not painful to sit through. I mean, it
wasn't painful.
Aspects of them might be a little like eye rolly, but there was plenty of stuff to like, and it does remind you of a nice, simpler time, and it does make you miss the early 2000s or the late 90s. I mean, I've watched Smart House, Johnny Tsunami, Brink, and now this, and I have the same reaction to all of them. I have a feeling that I'm probably gonna, whatever Disney Channel original movie, again, unless it's like horribly painful, I have a feeling I'm gonna say yes for all of them. But again, it's not like a resounding yes, like this is a great work of art and I love it and I'm gonna watch it over and over again. But I feel like it's exactly the same as it was when you were a kid. You were just a kid. So like,
well, and I do have to say, watching it 2.5 times since quarantine started, it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't. And again, dude, Gary Cole, like I mean, I have to give. And Hilary Duff is so charming. She's great.
So charming. Anybody listening to this or watching this? No, I need her to be my friend.
We got 2 yeses and 1 no. But Bear, I think yours is kind of it sounds like a soft no again.
I didn't hate it. There's just nothing here for me. Like I get it. I get it.
Like I can actually imagine me sitting down with Zoe and some friends of ours, maybe even Ansley and Brian, and like, oh, let's put on Cadet Kelly for fun.
Let's make it a drinking game.
Yeah, like I could imagine doing that and like having fun.
Every time she says "sir," you know, I'm waiting for one of these like Disney Channel original movies or something to kind of blow me away by getting a little deeper than just kind of the surface level enjoyment of it. And we almost got there with Josie and the Pussycats, but it just came up short.
Josie and the Pussycats wasn't a Disney Channel original movie, was it?
Right, it's not, but it is targeted towards the same demographic. Yeah. And as far as theatrical movies go, that fucking thing was destined for the small screen.
I had to sneak out of my house to watch Josie and the Pussycats, and then I lied to my parents about it. And to this day, I have never told them that I did see that movie at the sleepover at Holly Hall's house.
What was the lie?
I think I said I was babysitting.
Oof.
And nice. I went over to Holly Hall's house because she was having a watching party, and I watched. My parents would probably
Holly Hall.
Yes, and my dad is still good friends. So my dad, Jenna Christine's dad, my roommate, lifelong friend, and Mr. Hall, Holly's dad, are all like a guy friend group that still hang out to this.
That's amazing. You know what's you know
They're
what
gonna
else?
Find out.
I was gonna say
this is an easily disproven lie. Like that, I like that you said you were babysitting, but that leaves a lot of doors open.
You know what I would love is if every year when Ansley goes home for holidays, they're just all talking and they're like, "Well, at least Ansley didn't see Josie and the Pussycats that night." It's like constantly they're bringing it up. Like, at least we can, like we've had a tough time sometimes, but at least you didn't lie to us about that night. Anyway, like, well, yeah, this was great. Ansley, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
So, guys, you could follow Ansley on Instagram. Give him your Instagram handle.
I hate my Instagram. You don't have to do. Nobody needs to see who I am on Instagram.
Is there anything coming out of yours that people should be checking out?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, where can we see your work? I'm more interested in like shit you've written that we can go watch.
Yeah.
IMDb.
Okay.
No.
All right, cool.
I mean, okay. So my Instagram is at Ansley Gordon, ANSLEY GORDON. That's it. If you see me pushing ergonomic desk chairs and cat food and CBD products, that's because I'm paid to. Sorry.
It's great. It's a nice way to make a living. But we can, look out for Ansley's stuff. Look on IMDb to see stuff in progress. Hopefully a movie of hers will be getting made this fall. All safety things pending. If you like Cadet Kelly or if you don't like Cadet Kelly, shoot us an email, stillgoodshow@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at stillgoodshow. You can also go to stillgoodshow.com and check us out on YouTube as well. Next week, we dive into Blink-182's classic Enema of the State. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.